Eric Biley coming on the pitch. Hey everyone, au revoir, bonjour, it's the Flying Pig here on the Flying Pig United with a little match recap, match reaction for you for the Huddersfield versus Manchester United game. That's just drawing to a close now in the FA Cup. It's currently 2-0 to Manchester United. There's just a minute left of stoppage time. And basically it's job done, isn't it? You know, through to the next round. Clean sheet by the looks of it anyway. Just wrapping up the game here. And just as I'm talking to you, my stream decides to absolutely melt. You know, not a great performance from Manchester United today, I have to say. Pretty bad at times, actually. Pretty damn bad, lads. But what was good, what was positive about the game is that we stuck in there. We showed a lot of dogged determination. You know, there were times when Huddersfield have been camped in our half and we could barely play out from the back whatsoever. And they were just having chance after chance after chance, drawing fouls, having free kicks, you know, really putting the pressure on Manchester United. Fair play to Huddersfield. I think they've played absolutely quality today against us, you know. But Manchester United's added bit of class has just shone through there. Romelu Lukaku, I mean, what can you say today? He's been brilliant. The first couple of minutes we were 1-0 up thanks to a lovely cool finish from Romelu Lukaku. A nice bit of play between Matic and Mata, and then Mata putting the ball into Lukaku. Lukaku does brilliantly just to turn back inside, beat the defender, and slot a very cool finish to the near post, you know. Really great seasoned finishing from Lukaku shown in the first couple of minutes in this game, and that's what we need from the lad. You know, we need these consistent performances where he's finishing chances, scoring goals. I'm just over the moon that the lad has actually managed to score 2 goals in a game, you know. It's been a little while for him. He has had a bit of a bad spell, I suppose you could say. But end of the day, you know, he's actually scored 21 goals now, I believe, in all competitions for Manchester United. It's February. That's pretty damn good for your first season at the club. You know, I know he's come in for a lot of money. We had high expectations, a lot because of how he's played in the past, how he did for West Brom, how he did for Everton, you know, the goals he scored in the Premier League already. But today, really seasoned performance from him. Absolutely fantastic. Not just the finishing, but the hold-up play. I mean, let me talk about his second goal as well. Equally fantastic goal. Probably a better goal, actually. Fantastic goal because he's actually started it from Manchester United's defence. He started the move. He's played in Alexis Sanchez. Alexis Sanchez has just done brilliantly to show that skill, that dribbling ability to hold the ball up, show that vision, slot Lukaku back in. Lukaku's absolutely away with a free run at goal, and he just slots it past the keeper, cool as a cucumber from Lukaku. Great sort of counter-attacking move from Manchester United right after we were just completely under the cosh. Huddersfield were battering us. You know, they had free kick. They were battering us, man. Manchester United couldn't get back out, but just that little bit of class and vision from Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez allowed us to make it 2-0. Right, now, what I want to address now, before I get on to, you know, the individual performances in the game, what I would like to address now, first of all, just want to say thank you to everybody who is tuning in right now on the channel. Get in there, my son. Manchester United have won. I think we have anyway. My stream has melted. Unless Huddersfield scored like 2 at the end here, then I'm pretty sure Manchester United are through to the next round of the FA Cup. But what I want to talk about is full time there. The players going down the tunnel. Yes, we have won the game. Get in there, my son. It's finished 2-0 to Manchester United here at Huddersfield Town. Fair play to Huddersfield. But, yeah, right, let's talk about this VAR rubbish, shall we? Just before half-time, after a pretty drab first half from Manchester United, creating chances-wise, you know, aside from the Lukaku chance, really, Manchester United go up the Huddersfield's end and score a lovely goal, and it was a lovely goal as well. Ashley Young doing ever so well down the right-hand side there just to beat his man, get a lovely ball in to Juan Mata, who rounds the keeper and finds a lovely finish into the net to make it 2-0 to Manchester United, right? And it was a goal all day long, lads and lasses. What the hell is this VAR nonsense all about if it's just going to produce a bullshit wrong decision and, you know, after a huge freaking 2-minute delay? It's really wound me up. I just don't understand it. I'm totally against VAR now. After the couple of games that I've seen it being used, and it just slows down the game. And if you're not even going to get the 100% correct decision, then what is the point of it in the first place? You know, what is the point of VAR if you are not going to get a 100% correct decision, you know? Okay, you know, if he's half a yard offside, it's easy to see. It's not contentious. It's the correct decision. But you're talking about if Juan Mata is offside, which in my opinion he isn't. He's off by a freaking Nats ball bag. He's not off by a long, very big amount, is he? And also what you've got to take into consideration is the linesman, it's his job to watch the line, is right in line with the freaking players here. He can see the pass made from Ashley Young. He can see the run made by Juan Mata. He didn't raise his flag. He didn't think it was offside. He's right freaking bang in line. He's right bang in line. If the linesman, whose job is to watch the line, make sure people are offside, says that it is onside, and he's the only one who's got the best clear view of what's going on here, then it is not offside, lads and lasses. It's not offside, is it? I mean, what is the point of having them then? You might as well just have some geezer in the studio back at wherever the hell they're looking at these replays, just saying, yeah, no, that was offside, that was onside. Ref, that's offside. Ref, that's onside. Yeah, no, that's onside. That's offside. Might as well have some prick doing that then, rather than an actual physical human being on the line. You might as well just have somebody filtering down to the referee saying, no, that he's onside there. Do you know what I mean? Live. So I just don't get it. I don't get it now. I think it's a complete waste of time. It takes so long. It slows the game down. You know, we've scored a perfectly legitimate goal. Juan Mata's celebrating. The fans are celebrating. 2 minutes goes by. And somehow those incompetent twats over there who are watching these replays somehow deem that to be an offside goal. There's no way that was an offside goal, you know. You've always got to, I think, if there's any slight chance that it can be offside, and we're talking about, you know, this as close a decision as you can get, really. His hand might be offside. The tip of his freaking little toe might be offside. But if it's that close, you have to give the benefit of the doubt to the striker, I think. Otherwise, you're just going to see this game ruined, you know. So I think that was a terrible decision in terms of the VAR. I think we've all seen on display now just how slow it can be, how much it takes the tempo and the fluidity out of football. It's not good. It doesn't work. And okay, you can use it for certain instances where it's like, yes, that is definitely a stonewall penno. Or yes, he's 100% offside. There, look, his whole leg, it's Zlatan Ibrahimovic and his whole nose is offside, you know. Then you can say it's offside. But unless it's 100% clear, you've got to give the benefit of the doubt to the attacking side, I think, anyway. But there we have it. I think we've just seen how poor VAR can be utilised in the game. I was sort of quite positive about it, thinking, oh, yeah, at least we're going to come to the right decision. You know, it might slow the game down by a minute here and there, but at least games and football games and seasons and matches and cups and trophies and everything are not going to be decided, you know, on a contentious decision that is ultimately wrong after viewing it after, you know, post-incident. But unfortunately, it doesn't give you that. It just gives you the opinion of somebody else who doesn't have as good a view as, say, the linesman in this instance. When we're talking about these guys sat there looking at the replays here, and they're drawing like fuzzy lines on the freaking pitch. What are they doing? Where are the straight lines here? You know, surely they've got some sort of graphic person in there who's capable of just getting the right perspective there to make a straight line, and that's just a grid that they're constantly looking at to see if things are offside and onside. But no, turns out somebody's brought their 7-year-old daughter in to doodle the lines on the freaking pitch. So, you know, it's just a calamity from start to finish. For me, that just goes to show you why VAR should not be a part of the game, you know. And if it is, this is what I personally think, why can it not be like this, where you just have the referee on the pitch, you've got somebody watching it, and then there's a replay played on the big screen, which all these bloody stadiums have now, for the whole stadium to see, for the fans to see, for the referee to see. The referee can then make his decision, and the fans will be able to see, oh yeah, you know what, he was actually offside there. So, you know, I'm not too bothered that the decision didn't go our way, because that's actually what happened. But no, I just think it's got no place in football right now. I know they're trying it in this competition, but I already want to see the back of it. I just think it slows the game down too much, and it's actually just bullshit. It's not scientific. It's still the decision of some bloke who's not the referee physically on the pitch, or who's not the linesman physically on the side of the pitch. So I think, you know, it causes all sorts of issues in terms of human error. And it's just an opinion at the end of the day. It's just another twat's opinion, you know. Anyway, we'll move on from this. Let me talk about the individual performances in the team here. Just want to say, everybody tuning in right now, you're a bunch of legends for getting involved with the post-match reaction for this game. Saturday night, what are you guys doing with your lives, eh? What am I doing with my life? I was watching the mighty United dispatch of Huddersfield. That's what I'm doing. But do us a favour, chuck a like on this video and give it a share on social media if you're that way inclined. You know you want to. But yeah, individually, let me talk about the players. Of course, man of the match for me, it has to go to Romelu Lukaku. Great to see him getting back in that goal-scoring vein. 2 goals from him tonight, a very nice brace as well. You know, not just your average tap-ins or very simple goals. You're talking about he's had quite a bit to do in both of these goals. And he skinned 2 defenders for both of the goals and put in 2 lovely finishers to get the goals as well. So all-around fantastic performance from him. General hold-up play was brilliant. I want to see more of that Romelu Lukaku. You know, you could argue his consistency's not been there for a while, but I think he has looked better these last 5 or 6 games. Hopefully this is the sort of boost of his confidence that he needs to just turn a corner and start doing this consistently for United now. Now, a lot of people will say, yeah, you've done it against Huddersfield. Who really gives a shit? He only scores against the lower teams. And that is sort of true, isn't it? You know, if you're looking at who he scored against this season, it's almost like the Pogba situation with the assists. It's like, yeah, he's got loads of assists in the league, but, you know, who are they actually against? Are they in games where we've just steamrolled a poor team and got 4 goals and, you know, you're taking those stats into consideration? But either way, he's come in the summer, 21 goals now for Manchester United. I think it's something like 12 or 13 or 11, somewhere around there, goals in his last 10 FA Cup appearances as well. So I think that's just, you know, brilliant stats. He obviously loves the cup competition. Want to see more of that. His goals has fired us into the next round of the competition there. Let me talk about little Juan Mata. Juan Mata. I absolutely love this little bloke. Most consistent Manchester United player, in my opinion. Yes, he has a bad game here and there. So does absolutely everybody. But in terms of consistency, in terms of consistent quality, I think you can't get better than Juan Mata. I mean, I think he's bordered on the world class. I know most people don't think that. You know, Chelsea got rid of him. He couldn't make it at the very top clubs over in La Liga. They didn't want him. Came over to the Premier League. Did ever so well for Chelsea. Won their Best Player of the Year award 2 years in a row. Came over to United. And he's since been the most consistent performer that we've got in Manchester United. I think such a clever player. You know, today he's made a goal there. And quite frankly, you know, that goal that he scored should have stood. That was 100% a goal. It's terrible refereeing, terrible decision. It's not even terrible refereeing because he's got to go with the decision of who's actually replaying it, surely. And they've said, no, he's offside. So the referee's got to go with that. That's done Juan Mata out of a goal, which would have capped off that performance absolutely perfectly because he deserved that. He also had a hand in creating a couple of other really good chances. Such a clever player anyway. I love Juan Mata. I just think he's one of the most consistent players we've got in Manchester United. Let's go to the other end of the spectrum in terms of consistency. Let's talk about Chris Smallcock. Let's talk about Smalling, who tonight actually grew a little bit. He grew a little bit tonight against Huddersfield. We found his level. No, fair play to Chris Smalling. I thought he put in a really solid performance at the back today. You know, clearing absolutely everything, blocking absolutely everything, heading the ball away when any cross came in. I thought he was pretty quality at the back, considering Huddersfield had a lot of joy in terms of attacking us and getting balls into the box and creating chances. For us to get a clean sheet, I think is, you know, in no small part down to Chris Smalling's performance. Thought he was really, really, really good today, actually. But at the end of the day, we're only playing Huddersfield. We should be battering them and not conceding at the end of the day. But really good performance from him after a shocking series of performances. Jose continues to select him. You know, I'm not convinced. I don't think he's Manchester United quality and a consistent enough player. That's what I was just talking about a moment ago with Mata. So consistent. Does it week in, week out. That's what you want. You know, you don't want a player who can have a calamity one week and then have a good performance the next week and then have a calamity the next week. You don't want that sort of player because it's just going to cost you points, cost you games. And we've seen that recently with Chris Smallcock. But, of course, today he was actually pretty good, so that's nice to see. Luke Shaw, nice to see him starting the game as well. Come on, Jose, put the lad in there. And he has. He has put Luke Shaw in there, and Luke Shaw put in a good performance, I think, up down that left-hand side of the pitch like a rat up a drain pipe. Really good performance from him. You know, good to see. I want to see more from him, and hopefully, you know, he can sort of revamp his Manchester United career because he's not had that many chances. Jose sort of limited the chances that he's had. I feel for him in a sort of way, but of course, at the start of Jose's tenure, he did show signs of immaturity. Jose said himself just wasn't happy with his commitment out there on the pitch, of his intelligence out there on the pitch. Basically, he said he's a thicko. You know, hopefully he's improved this IQ point since then, and that's why he's been selected in the side. So good to see that. Anyway, generally, I think the team's performed pretty well other than that. Carrick in the centre of the park, no Pogba today. McTominay, I thought, has done good. You know, midfield-wise, it wasn't that solid. You know, there was lots of times where Huddersfield overran us in midfield, but then we had Carrick coming back into the side. He's not played for a long while. McTominay is a young lad. He's learning. You know, so all things... What is this calamity? What sort of gash-tasticness is this? Oh, hey, everyone, I seem to be back now. What the hell just happened here? My stream just got interrupted there. YouTube just crashed. Sort your freaking lives out, YouTube, okay? Not happy with the level of service at the moment. But anyway, what was I talking about? Chris Smalling had a good game. Juan Matters had a good game. You know, generally an all-round good team performance from Manchester United, so I'm happy about that. Hopefully this has actually continued the previous video, on the previous video. But if not, then, you know, it's a bit gash, to be honest. But there we have it. Pretty much was done with this video anyway. I just wanted to wait until the FA Cup draw is made at 7:45. I think we're going to be seeing who Manchester United are playing in the next round, which is only a few minutes away from now. So I'll stick around. We'll do a live reaction to the draw that comes out in the FA Cup for the next round. Manchester United doing really well to get through here today after a real dogged performance from Huddersfield against us. You know, on a different day, it could have been a different story. They had a couple of really good chances. They put a lot of pressure on us. Manchester United just showed that extra quality in the final third via Romelu Lukaku, who was absolutely brilliant with his couple of goals that he scored today. So absolutely over the moon about that. If you are joining me, do chuck a like on this video. This may now be a separate video. Don't really know what's happened. YouTube just cut me off there. Sort it out. So please do chuck a like on this video as well if it is a different video. I can't actually see what's happened with the FA Cup draw now, so I'm relying on you people, you beautiful people, just spat all over the place, in the comment section here to fill me in with what's going on in the FA Cup draw. When enough of these comments come through confirming who it is, I'll give you my reaction and thoughts to it. Let's have a look at some of your guys' comments anyway. Again, thanks so much for tuning into this match reaction. Let's have a look. So Alex Rincon in the house. How's it going, Alex? He says, come on, Lukaku. Really over the moon for Lukaku for this game. You know, it's nice to see him scoring a couple of goals, and not only scoring a couple of goals, but a couple of real sort of confident goals, real skillful goals. You know, goals where he's had to hold it up, goals where he's had to interlink with his teammates. You know, that second goal especially, where he's deep in his own half when he starts the movement off and gets it back from Alexis Sanchez and slots it past the keeper. I thought that's an absolutely brilliant goal. You know, that was a finish of a real seasoned finisher. So that's what we want to see more of. And the first goal, of course, same thing. You know, he's done the defender. He's made the run, done the defender, and got the finish. Real nice finish at the near post. So I'm absolutely over the moon for Romelu Lukaku, and hopefully he can, you know, hit 30 goals for us this season. It's the middle of February, and he's already on 21 goals for Manchester United. 21 goals in the middle of February. For anybody, that's good, you know. Okay, he started like a train for Manchester United, and most of that did come at the start of the season in a very short spurt where he was just absolutely unplayable. And he had a bit of a quiet spell, but since then he really has managed to turn it around, I think. And we want to see him do it in the big games. That's something that's perhaps lacking from it. James Arnold says, United are the biggest club in the world. Fact. Just stating the obvious there. Of course we are! Scott Houstingard, fourth is not a trophy and you can't even do that anymore. I think he's just ripping on an Arsenal fan. Good on you, Scott! Keep ripping on those Arsenal fans. Ali Mohammed says, English clubs better than the world. I think he's meant to say English clubs are the best in the world. Well, I mean, you can't really say that we are based on the last 5 years in sort of European performances. But right now, I think we're having a really good spell. I think the competition that's arose in the Premier League from the likes of Pep Guardiola and Jose Mourinho coming into the English Football League from Spain has just been the shot in the arm that the Premier League needed, and to take the clubs, you know, on and improve them. And you can certainly see that has happened at both Manchester clubs. You know, compared to when we had Louis van Gaal and compared to when we've had Jose, we are much more consistent. We do pick up more results, and we've got better players since then. So we have come on a considerable way since those days. But since, of course, Pep Guardiola's coming to City, they've been absolutely unbelievable. So I think those two teams could challenge anybody in Europe right now. I also think, you know, the likes of Spurs showing against Juventus in the Champions League the other day just goes to show you the depth that the depth that football is at in the Premier League at the